Hello there, it's Mike.
And Katie.
And this week it's episode 147. And what are we talking about this week, Katie?
This week, spooky season continues with Candyman and Nightbooks.
On Cup of Rad. Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Mike.
There we go. A little bit. We got like a smooth, like...
We're keeping it mellow.
Mellow?
Yeah.
I wonder if we could do a whole podcast, like...
Super chill.
That would be a really impressive thing for me, because I don't do that well.
Just very soft-spoken. We have to have a very good topic, though.
Like something deep and like...
Right?
Yeah.
Like Wookiee back hair.
That would be...
And scrotal frostbite. And
that's not things to keep me calm. That makes me burst out laughing.
Oh.
That took a lot of effort to not laugh.
Oh, fair enough.
So we'd have to talk about things that were not hysterical. But see, you do a better job of like saying weird stuff like that and keeping straight
I
face.
never say anything weird. Far from it.
I'm going to give everyone a vote. Just raise your hand if you agree with me. Mike says weird stuff all the time.
Never.
Wait for it.
Never.
Wait for it. Do you see the flurry of hands going up? Just imagine.
Quit swaying the vote.
Just imagine.
It's a swing vote right now. Hope you're all doing well out there in listening world on this salacious cup of rad.
Can I keep this up? I don't know. I'm having a hard time, man. I'm having a hard time.
You're starting to freak out.
Starting to freak out, man.
You need to calm. Deep breaths. Breathe with me. In through the nose, out through the mouth.
I'm sure this sounds great on the podcast. Okay.
Well, you know what? I've been super tired. Work has been pretty intense on my end.
Work's been long days for me too.
Yeah, you've been barely making it home. And just, back in the swing of things after being off for a couple of months myself. It was just pretty crazy to get back in.
Well, and school and your work has been 9 days in and it feels like forever.
Yeah. So,
when is Christmas break again?
Pretty much. But no, it just, so getting back in the swing of things, different than changing, from my late nights of partying out in the rocks.
On the rocks? What are we?
I don't know. It just sounded really good.
I was camping, I guess.
That wasn't anything weird.
It was totally weird.
That was nothing weird.
It was super weird.
Not at all.
I know what rocks he's partying on that I'm not aware of. So
all the rocks. That's right. Here on Cup of Rad. So just getting back in the swing of things, really changing things up, right? This last weekend, I also was at a volunteer event that got pretty much rained out.
Hailed out, thunderstormed out.
Lightning, all
everything possible. But they were still there till the end.
We were trapped. We were trapped as we flooded out. So that was pretty wild.
Well, we had on the day before, we had more rain in a lot of our area than we've had in one day since January. So it's been a little crazy suddenly.
It's been wet and wild. That's right, on Cup of Rad.
Does it ever feel like I have multiple hosts all the time?
I feel like that all the time.
I know, right?
But nothing really new and exciting happening. Only like depressing stuff's happening. It's really sad. Like Super 7, they announced a whole bunch of delays, which was a bit of a...
this flurry of emails from Big Bad saying, this has been delayed, this has been delayed. I'm like, oh. So
that's been really depressing. Stuff that we're hoping for this year is now next year. So the toy section in the new section at home is looking a little weak.
I am
waiting for the He-Man stuff. I hope more He-Man stuff comes in.
I am kiddo's getting a Lego Advent calendar this year though, which is pretty cool. He hasn't had one for a little while, but my mom loves them, and so she was just like, "What does he want?" So we looked at those, and he's getting an Avengers one, which actually looks pretty fun. So I'm excited. Kind of got Iron Man ugly sweater and Spider-Man's in a jacket, and like it looks pretty fun. So that'll be exciting. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm talking about Christmas. But that was the only like new toy thing that I could talk about.
There's like been nothing exciting.
You know, Christmas Lego. So, but there will be new Lego hopefully in the house soon. So we got like birthdays and Christmases coming up, so we have new toys that way.
Yeah, for kiddo, not for us.
My friend's apartment sits
dormant. It's like the worst contractors ever.
I know, right?
They built like half a wall and then just gave up.
They built half a wall and then realized that they needed to finish the other part of the wall like 3 weeks later. So they came back and finished the other section, and now they've pieced out again, and there's no, plan on when they'll come back.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, we got, let's see, 1, 2...
Joey and Chandler just sitting in their chairs, just like...
There's two walls. There's a rug and there's a kitchen. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and chairs. That's it.
It's Speedy Builders.
Spectacular. I know, right?
There's Katie's company, Speedy Builders. We'll get it done sometime. Who knows when?
Right?
She wants to get this Santa's Village, like Santa's Arrival Lego set.
Santa's Visit.
Yeah.
Because it's magical.
And I was like, dude,
it's gonna be built by next Christmas.
You're right. Like
Christmas after.
3 Christmases later, Santa will finally get to come through the chimney. But yeah, it's like, how are you gonna, if you're gonna get that, like, how are you gonna get it done in time to be able to be available?
I'll have to put aside my friend's Lego.
You just need to get it done. I don't know why you're dragging your feet.
I was gonna build some today, and I don't know why. I just need to do even a little bit at a time. It's because we live in the dark, and that requires light. So then, like, at night, like, I like the calm, quiet, dark, like, mellow lighting.
Smooth cup of red jazz.
I have no good reason other than I'm just take forever to build it.
Yeah.
I have no good reason. Because I really enjoy building
Kiddo builds it in like half an hour and then he's done with it, so.
I know, right? I'm like, so the opposite.
You're like...
It never ends. Anyways, that's...
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a little tired.
We're a little bit. Yeah.
We ended up having a really lazy day.
Yeah.
The cat was so happy. Thor was so happy that he could just cuddle with Dad all day.
Yep.
And everywhere Mike was, Thor had to be there.
Yep. And
all
on me.
Around and on and just all over the place and just constantly.
You can really tell that he misses his dad.
Mm-hmm.
And for the good of the family, I should just stop working.
I agree.
I mean, like, my babies, they're
he needs to be the stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Like, I give this work thing a year. Try again. I think it's fair. Like, yeah, hey, here's a vote. Raise your hand if you think Mike should just peace out on his job and stay home again. That is a solid vote, and I respect all your decisions, except for those that didn't put your hand up.
Oh, ouch.
Okay, well, I respect you as a being. I just don't respect your decision.
Okay, so... what are we here for today?
What are we here for? What is the whole purpose of everything that is going into your ears?
What is the thing that's happening?
What is going to drip the essence of liveliness to perk everything up that'll make you go eureka in that moment of wonderment while you were listening to this somewhere? You could be on the toilet. You could be on the bus. Who knows what you're doing? We don't know. It could be fun. It could be boring. But in this next moment,
but Cover Rat is here for you.
When we finally decide to tell you why we're here, even though we did tell you. So if you were listening early, you would know exactly what we're about to talk about. So Netflix dropped a brand new movie called The Nightbooks. Mm-hmm. And it is produced by Sam Raimi's Ghost House. Yeah, Ghost House.
Yes, I think Ghost House.
Yeah. And it is based on a novel, which I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. It is directed by the dude that did Brightburn, the ultra-violent Superman kind of Elseworlds tale that wasn't Superman, but really we all know it was Superman. Mm-hmm. It is the story about a girl. No, it's a story about a witch and a boy and a girl. Yeah,
and another witch.
Yeah, right. So it's like a starter horror film.
Yeah.
So it's like a kids movie, but it is done
But it's definitely a horror film.
But it's done in a horror film aspect. There's only like a couple like kid jokes in it. One that was a little like unnecessary.
That was the only part I really disliked about it.
Yeah. But all in all, what did you think?
Well, I actually really did enjoy it. It was a little bit edgier than I was expecting for being just labeled as a kid's movie. And there was quite a few times that I looked over and Kiddo's eyes were all wide and just like, oh my gosh. One of the little beastie things that was attacking him kind of reminded me of...
The Shredder.
Yeah, not Benicio. Pan's Labyrinth.
Del Toro?
Del Toro. I should have just said Del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro?
Yeah, there we go. That type of
creepy,
being, creepy, like half human, half beast.
It was like a skull face on a spider body, but with like knives for legs.
Yeah. It was, that sounds cool, right?
Like, hey, children, we've got a game for you. It's called Switchblade Spider. That's right. If you can survive a night with a Switchblade Spider, you'll be good. Don't get cut.
So it's about the young boy who's basically having a crisis of his being. His identity. His
whole surface.
Because he loves creepy things and horror. He writes short stories and he just loves monsters and horror things. And the movie starts with him screaming of how he's never going to do it again. He's trying to destroy everything in his room. And his parents are kind of quietly talking and, saying, I wish
we shouldn't have had him do this.
Maybe we should do this and I wish he was normal.
Yeah.
And so in the midst of all this, he's packing up all these books and everything. And then he ends up running away. And he's heading down to like a basement of his apartment.
Boiler room.
And you find out he's going to the boiler room. And then he stops and there's this kind of creepy TV and what was it, pie in this apartment?
Pumpkin Pie and the Lost Boys.
The Lost Boys. And it grabs his attention.
Doesn't sound like a bad time, actually.
Right?
Like now I want pumpkin pie.
Oh, I'm so excited. We get pumpkin pie in a few weeks.
Maybe we make some pumpkin pie and we rent the Lost Boys.
I think that is a great Thanksgiving plan.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the plan. And so he goes into this apartment and then he gets knocked out and he wakes up trapped in this witch's house.
Yep.
And there's another girl there. And
it was pretty intense. Like the witch comes in, she's like, "Tell me why you're useful, or you will die."
Yeah, like she's intense,
right? And
she's fashionable. She's not like creepy looking.
Yeah,
she's just very angry.
Yeah, and intense. So then he finds out that he's got like stories and all that.
Yeah,
and he's a storyteller. So then it's just
that's his use. Then
yeah, so because she needs new stories for the house, and
we don't know why she needs stories, but she's like desperate for them. Like, you need to tell me. He finds a library that's in the apartment there, and it's massive, stories upon stories upon stories, and apparently everything's been read. So he's up against everything there that, and it needs to be not a happy ending. It needs to be a scary story that does not have a happy ending, which is actually really difficult for us, as we generally we create stories that might have scary events, but not bad endings. Yeah. We like something to we want to see someone be hopeful, right?
Yeah. Triumphant.
Yeah. So it's interesting how quickly she would point out something where it still sounded like a horrific story. And yet if anything was going all right for someone, she would freak out about it, right?
Nope.
And she was very critical for him.
Very.
Right? Everything.
We all know that.
Yeah, she'd correct him on everything, and it was, but yet at the same time, it's like, well, this is strange. She keeps correcting him, yet she doesn't kill him or anything like that. Like, why'd she keep going, right? So yeah, there's another girl there that seems to be she's more of like the gardener, and she does the cooking and the cleaning. And so then they're making friends. So he's determined they're going to escape. And then the whole thing is about them trying to figure out how they can escape and the history behind things. And,
I actually quite enjoyed it. And if you've got a kiddo that is interested in some of the spooky, that hasn't stepped into, more horror movies, I think it's definitely worth it. There was some really cool shots. There was a lot of like Sam Raimi-esque shots in it, which was cool to see because there was a few things that really reminded me of his work with Evil Dead and stuff like that, right? So,
and I really, because it is new, and I really would recommend it. I don't want to spoil it beyond what we've said here, because there's a lot of really cool stuff at the end. That,
all I would say is that the end beastie thing, the makeup and stuff on it was actually quite ingenious and pretty spectacular.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was a great idea, and like
lots of details and fun to look around at everything and really be like, oh, they cared about this and they cared about that. It was not cheaply done.
No. There was the only place that was muddy was the cat. Yeah, the cat, the CG for the cat. Yeah. And then the gross stuff the cat did. Yeah. But no, the Nightbooks on Netflix, it was like it was a surprise. It was a treat. It was one of those ones where you're watching and you're like, oh, yeah, this is actually pretty cool. Like, I dig it. Like,
and kiddo, it was nice because there was only, sometimes if he gets overwhelmed, he'll kind of grab onto me a little bit more. For the most part, that wasn't the case. He kind of had a like shock look on his face, but it wasn't so intense that he was like latching onto me. There was only one spot where he was kind of a little bit more freaked out.
It was the shredders, right?
I don't even know about that.
Or if it was
it was something so minimal that I think it was near the end, and with kind of the big final bad guy, but it was, he definitely was able to handle it, no problem. So it wasn't too terrifying. Yeah. So
it was a great way to continue.
It had a good lesson in it too for kids.
Yeah, totally.
Like a really good lesson about, accepting yourself and being okay even with what you're maybe labeled as weird.
Yeah.
Right? So,
but it was a great way to continue kind of the beginning of our spooky season. Mm-hmm. We got a few spooky ones last week, but then this was kind of a good kickoff for the family wise, because there's not many, family horror movies that aren't just like goofy, right? Yeah. Like it's either like just like la-di-da-di-da Halloween, or it's full horror.
Yes.
Right. So in our case, our kiddo isn't really huge on the spooky, so finding ones that kind of are edge it up a little bit for us a little bit more is a fantastic thing to find.
Yeah.
So then I was like on that was that.
He does that a lot when he thinks.
Right? Yeah, you did. You liked that. You want to hear it again?
No.
Next week, come back for more. Then I was on demand, and I was looking around, and I was surprised to find that Candyman was on there.
Yeah, the brand new one.
The brand new one had hit video on demand.
We were very excited because we couldn't go to theaters for it because of how late it was playing.
Yeah, and I figured it was going to take a lot longer to hit on demand because Suicide Squad just hit on demand, and it's been like 7 weeks since that came out.
Yeah.
Right? Candyman just came out like not even 3 weeks ago.
I thought it was before that. I thought it was out before Suicide Squad. Oh, okay.
No.
Oh, wow. Crazy.
The 28th or something.
Wow.
Yeah. At least here, that's what that's.
Oh yeah, I guess yeah.
So Candyman came out, so I was like, sweet, I can watch it now. I don't have to, wait much longer.
And it was cheaper than going to theater, so as well.
And we could watch it when we want to watch it.
Yeah.
So it's the new one, produced by Jordan Peele and his Monkey Paw production.
He's gotten a really good reputation for some really good quality spooky movies for sure.
Yeah, he definitely is. He also co-wrote it.
Oh, okay.
So, which was kind of cool to see. And now you would ask me if I needed to know any facts, and now I can't remember the director's name. So that's awesome. It's Nina something.
Nina something. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it was interesting being able to watch the 92 one, just recently. We covered that one in the last episode. And this one technically is what you would look to as a sequel, because it actually references the events from Candyman, the original Candyman, talks about that. You actually have a direct character connection from it. Both the baby that was stolen is now grown up, and the mom, right? So you have that. They actually talk about those events. They reference the areas. They talk about the lore that she had found and everything that had happened with her. So you almost had like a little bit of a recap of the original story, which I thought was really cool.
And it was a lot of it was done too with this really eerie puppetry, paper puppetry.
Yes.
So Nina DaCosta.
Okay.
So, and she's actually going to be directing the Captain Marvel sequel, The Marvels.
Oh, nice.
So
nice. The kind of puppetry, shadowy type stuff that was really creepy.
Yeah. One thing I thought that was really cool because like Candyman, the first one, the shot with the opening credits is bird's eye view of Chicago as it's going along. And the opening credits was like street view looking up.
It was like if you were laying down on the street and
like on the back,
around.
Like on the back of a truck it was driving you around, and you just like were looking straight up. It was
really difficult to focus on,
and it was eerie.
Kind of unnerving.
Yeah, it was eerie too because there's like clouds and stuff. So then like the buildings just disappeared. Yeah, into like fog and like, but it was trippy. It was a trip to watch. Like that.
Like it took you a moment to be like, how are they getting this shot? Yeah. And yeah, it was definitely kind of put you on the edge of your seat there right at the very beginning. Yeah. So what did you think?
I absolutely loved it. Yeah. I actually think I enjoyed the new Candyman more than the original. Yeah. Because it is a little bit more horrific and it's just richer in the bringing the lore of it more to life. Yeah. Almost.
I like this. The characters felt more developed. Like I cared more about them.
Yeah. And it was really painful to watch when all like the shit hit the fan and like things were going down. You were just like, oh.
Oh yeah. It definitely was a lot creepier, a lot more suspenseful. You felt a lot worse. And then the twist of the bad guy, I'm going to say, was shocking. Yeah. And it did a great job of feeling a lot more like a horror movie than the original one did. Yeah. The original one had horrific moments, but overall, didn't have that depth and richness in the story. And this one just had so much more. Right?
Well, this definitely brought a lot more of the idea of like the mental health aspect to it and all, but also like bringing into like the lore of everything. But even deeper, I think, connections to, the poverty that happens and kind of what's just painted over Band-Aid solutions to areas that, and
well, they straight out said the fact that, generally the white population, they tend to then think they're going to create something and then they get mad because they create something by taking away the funding from something. Yeah. And then it's this vicious cycle. So there was commentary on that. So.
And then also just the brutality that came from those racial injustices, right? Yes. Because it's the idea that Candyman isn't necessarily one person. It may have started at one place, but it just keeps building and building and building with, they say a hive, basically. Yeah. You're part of the hive.
Well, I guess it'd be interesting idea, with the bees involved and all of that sort of stuff, right? So is it more of the concept of someone getting sucked into, the mental health issue, poverty taking place, police brutality, inequality, all those sort of things, and kind of the result of all of this happening, kind of a perfect storm of situations that fall upon you.
An infection.
So there's a lot more levels to this one than the original.
Yeah, and there's a lot more art to it. Yes. And like it's weird to say that for like some of the kills, but some of the kills it was just very artful, skillfully done. Like the art critic when she
that was my favorite one. Yeah.
The scene is starts off with the camera panning out of her apartment to the point where you see pretty much the whole building. The building with all the ones that are lit up, and you're seeing other people in all their apartments, and then you get to see her kill if you're paying attention.
Yeah, and I had looked away, and you're like, oh no, and I was like, what? I couldn't, even just like looking at the screen quickly, I couldn't tell what was happening. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was really, it's impressive because it tries to keep your attention then. Yeah. And I think that it was good. Then it reminded me like, well, no, this is a movie that deserves to be looked at too, and, and it was just, it would have been really easy to miss.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was well done. Like I don't even think I picked up my phone once. Yeah. When like even to look up like who was in any characters.
Yeah, it kept focused.
Like I was just like I was completely 100% in it. like I would have been at the theater.
Yeah.
Without even any like want to know anything about things.
Well, like for me, I had played my computer game while we were watching the original Candyman, and it was super easy to do that and just have it on in the background and okay, I'm gonna watch this action scene and that's it. Yeah. So there's times when I do play a little bit more distracted for things, and I was like, okay, this one too, I'll probably just do that. This really, really matters to you. And I'm actually kind of like, why did I do that? Like, it would deserve to have been paid more attention to myself. So, when we can watch it again sometime, hopefully, then we can pay attention to it again.
Yeah, but I totally recommend it if you get a chance to see the new Candyman movie. It is a great horror film.
Mm-hmm.
Totally recommend it. It was awesome. Like it's like that reminder of like, the skillfulness that there is in some filmmaking, I think, because of how well it was paced and how well it looked.
Yeah, it wasn't just the kills, and as you say,
because there wasn't many. It still follows the same kind of feeling of the original Candyman. There's not a lot of like brutality in it. It's a slow burn, right? Yeah.
But and then the pain of what happens to people around the situation as well, right? And as I say, you cared a little bit more about the actual people that were involved.
I think that's why it's a great parallel for mental health.
Yeah.
Right. And that break that can happen, the expectations, because he's a struggling artist and they're looking for the next and they want him to be a certain way. And then he goes to try to...
you want him to be what made him successful. Well, that's not good enough anymore. So now you need to recreate yourself. But then how do you make yourself still successful that way?
Then he does something that he's passionate about and then it's looked down on. And then, then everything hits the fan, right?
Yeah.
So like it literally is,
good commentary, right?
Exactly. So yeah, if you get a chance to see the new Candyman movie, definitely check it out. So I did continue my spooky season. I was like, I'm full on looking for my horror movies this year. I'm going to try to get as many as I can on the podcast.
So if you have any suggestions of things.
Yeah, it's also going to be a matter of what we can find too, right?
I know. But still,
if there's one that's really near and dear to your heart, hit us up and we'll see if we can find it.
Or any new ones that you found, we can see what we can look for, right?
So one I want to see is Malignant, but we haven't been able to get to theater for that.
Yes.
Gotta try to figure that one out. But there was one I found on Netflix that I hummed over for a bit. It was called The Final Girls, and I was feeling like something funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wanted the comedy horror, but I wanted to watch something I hadn't watched yet. So it was called The Final Girls, and the story is based on the idea that this girl, her mom was in a B movie back in the day, a blood camp or something like that.
Yeah. Camp Bloodbath.
Yeah. And so she was like a struggling actress and she dies. And the mom dies. And then the daughter's still dealing with all that. So it's been 3 years later. She goes to a screening because she's trying to help a friend out. And they end up, her and her friends get pulled into the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So they're experiencing the
well, doesn't the theater burn?
Yeah, the movie theater lights on fire.
Yeah, so then chaos is happening.
Yeah, so they get into the movie, so they know what's going on because they know the movie, and they start infecting the movie, and they try changing it because the girl wants to try to save her mom.
Yeah,
right. So
because it's interesting, they think that they know everything that's going to happen because a lot of it is just stuck and repeated and doing
because they
see everything, but then they can start actually impacting the way things people are doing and trying to change. And this person kills the bad guy at the end, so we got to make sure she's okay, and just don't do this because then it creates this. Well, then now the girl that's supposed to kill the bad guy at the end dies.
Yeah. And
so now they're kind of stuck with like, how do we end this cycle then?
Yeah. This one here is pretty old. It's from 2015. I didn't realize it was so old.
Yeah.
But it's pretty ridiculous. Like it's funny. It has some good moments and some good heart for sure. Mm-hmm. Like I enjoyed watching it. The only real gripe I have is that it should have been rated R.
Yeah.
And
it would have been better then.
Yeah. Like you were dealing with a movie called Camp Bloodbath, and you were dealing with a slasher that's basically the Jason-esque killer. And it's all just very PG.
Yeah.
And very tame. right?
Well, it's supposed to be teenagers, the camp counselors at this place having sex and playing
right. Like
around.
He shows up. The whole one premise was the idea that the moment she takes her top off, he shows up, right?
Yeah.
So
they're like, "Where is my boobs?"
well, no, but like that idea though that they
no, I know
because they were restrained to that PG-13 that it took away from some of the almost the
more the horror aspect.
Yeah, the intensity that could have been there. It didn't need to be gratuitous.
No. Well, it turns more into a bit more of a drama of her trying to deal with her mom and trying to talk to her, the things that she wished she had been able to say.
Yeah. Right?
And so it's all touching, but it's not a horror film feel, right?
Yeah, it's like... So, but the humor in it was pretty good. Like there were some pretty funny jokes, and like it was funny to see the one character that was like all in for the movie, that was like interacting like he was like star-studded.
Yeah,
with the characters, right?
Yeah, he was like, oh, and then this is gonna happen, and then this happens, and like, wow,
So, but then the murderer Billy ends up killing her friends.
Yeah.
Because they don't think at first that they can interact with the killer because he doesn't look like it, and then it just it all morphs and changes, right?
Yeah.
So, but no, it was a good time. Like it was a good, I needed a bit of a laugh the other night after the rains, and
yeah,
it fit that bill of like going into the spooky season, having some laughs. There were some pretty cool ideas in it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you find it on Netflix, I think it's a worthwhile watch.
Yeah,
it's only a 92-minute movie.
It was campy and funny, and
if you're looking for something a little different too, and as I say, it's kind of on that edge of not being super horror, but edging into the horror genre, right? So. But yeah, The Final Girls, it was on Netflix. It was, I enjoyed it. I would say check it out if you're, because it speaks onto all those levels of people that do really like horror in all aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you like the slasher movies and you can understand the campiness to them, I think you'll get a lot more out of the movie, right?
Yeah.
Versus if you're like a A24 horror fan, you're not going to, I think, see the charm of the enjoyment, right?
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
But The Final Girls, I'd say see it.
So one more thing to add here was we watched another episode of Lucifer.
Oh yeah,
and it was really trippy. So he's of course struggling with trying to ascend in the concept of being God, and he is trying to prove that he can help people, that even though he dislikes them, and this one actually showed growth with Lucifer, which was really nice to see. But he picked the original bad guy that they were, that they met on their case. So way back when, and they found him in hell. It was like, okay, I hate him because he shot you and he did all this and blah, blah, blah. And so if I can help him, there's my proof that I can help anyone. And, but going into his hell loop, they turned into animated characters, and it followed all the same cartoon rules of physics. Yeah. And it was just extreme and weird, and they were like in this little bubble, and it was really trippy to see. And then they had different like layers of his hell loop. It was really artfully done.
Yeah.
Of him, like on a psychological level, he was using cartoons as a safety net. It was his comfort. And then they slowly worked through his history. And so it was also the idea that the hell loops are kind of broken because they're supposed to be just one thing.
Yeah.
And is it broken, or is it really that Lucifer's never paid attention to how deep some of these hell loops can actually be?
Yeah.
Because most people have more than one thing that they regret in their life, right?
Yeah.
And then if you have a really traumatized person, then it's like that onion, and they peel back through things, right? And so they work their way through all these different events.
Is that like an actual Shrek reference?
I know, no, but...
That's amazing.
That was good. But all these cartoons for things that would show up, and they work back through to his original trauma, and unfortunately of his mom leaving when he was very young, right? And so that they learn about all this stuff, and it was good to see Lucifer's growth, realizing that it felt okay to help people and to forgive people, and like that was the God thing that he was looking for, the idea of forgiveness and the second chances, right? So that was enjoyable to, after the first few where it was kind of like a little frustrating with them, to actually see some growth and change in a weird artful sort of way, right? So I remember that was something we had done.
Yeah, cool. No, that was a good episode. That made it more interesting to continue versus what we had been seeing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's all I got.
Well, that's
like
so
a little short spooky nuggets of
spooky
things
nugget
this time around. Yeah,
spooky nugget, caramel coated. Just watch for razor blades.
Oh yeah.
So, but you know what we got coming for you? Real soon. We checked out Netflix's new He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. So get ready for that episode coming up. Not now. You gotta wait. Like maybe a few days.
Okay, everyone. Thanks for joining us and have a wonderful day.
And remember, stay rad, dudes.